Go on, have a go. What's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goal?
Gotta be
While still bashing our head against a brick wall and I've got to keep resilient. I must not give up. Oh, you're just tolerating it.
Just are people happy? Are people frustrated? Welcome back to the Business Mutiny podcast, where we talk about real stories in business and in life. Today we've got Andrew Miller, who is an author, used to be an insolvency practitioner, now a business coach, talking about business enjoyment. So let's see if we enjoy this chat and get stuck straight in. So Andrew, how do we make my bits tingle?
It's probably worth just explaining what I mean by that.
Definitely.
Because it is multi-layered.
Otherwise we're in the wrong studio.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
The actual reason I came up with a strapline of that ilk was there's business enjoyment is the company that I talk about, and when people hear that, they normally think, oh, I'm okay. I don't hate my business. They go to the worst case scenario. So obviously, if you hate your business, well, that's quite extreme. But the point I was trying to get was that we can fall into this trap of things being good enough.
Yeah,
it's all right. If you poll a number of business owners and say, give us a score out of 10, how you doing? And how are you enjoying it? Kind of thing. Oh, I'm probably about 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Well, 7 out of 10. Dangerous number.
Kind of feels a bit average, doesn't it?
It's like if you're down a 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you think, oh, I better do something about it. But no one really says 8, 9, 10 because 10, oh well, no one goes with 10.
Exactly. No one's ever ecstatic. They could always do better.
Yeah. So I called it the 7 out of 10 trap, and it's sort of like, oh, don't rock the boat, that kind of thing. And what I'm trying to get across is that it shouldn't be your starting point. But when you get to a certain level and things are doing all right, there is like 30% further that you can go. Now, if you talking to a typical business owner about sales and profits and that kind of thing, and said you're leaving 30% on the table, they'd go insane.
Yeah.
So is that point in terms? So it's not just targeting the pain; it's also trying to acknowledge the fact that even when everything's okay, we've still got more we can do. So trying to get more of a positive spin out of the message. So that was the reason behind it, kind of thing. But it then has an extra element as well. And what I talk about in business, you want to get to a good position, but then you want to start stepping into some sort of purpose, giving back, meaningful, something that really resonates with you. So it's not just about the business; it's about something that's vital. And this is why, you're stepping into it, because what you're doing with this podcast and giving back and helping people start, there's something that's we've not analysed it, but I'm guessing there's something in there that you think is really important. And when you see someone hearing something, getting that going to give you a buzz that just doing business might not give. It's as an extra little something extra. So when you used to get fully aligned, people sort of get now, we're generally thinking creatures with our heads, but actually we think with the whole body and the gut and the heart and all these bits work. So it's when everything's aligned. So you got your brain, you got your tummy or your gut, and you got your soul or your heart. BTS. Brain, tummy, soul. So when everything is aligned and you know what you're doing every single day, you're making a difference, and it's still fitting everything else. Everything's aligned, and then you get this lightning spark that rolls up, and that's when your bits tingle.
There you go. Job done. Just got to find out how to do it now, don't we?
Yeah, but this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've done the hard work in terms of building the business, and you enjoy that for sure. But now you're doing something a bit extra that goes beyond that. You're not doing this for money gain, financial gain. You're not doing it necessarily for yourself, even though you get a buzz from it. You're doing it for something outside of you. Yeah. And then you get a resonance between the two. So absolutely it kicks your buttons, but you're seeing the difference, and then you get a totally different resonance than you do when you're just running a business.
Okay. So it's, as I said, I think a lot of business owners aren't there at the moment.
I agree. Absolutely. This isn't step one.
It's probably going to get worse before it ever gets better, the current economy. Is there tips that people can use to find that purpose or find that desire again? Because I think people get into business for freedom, for comfort, for excitement.
And then the one thing they don't get is freedom,
is any of it, yeah.
comfort,
Yeah.
maybe lots of excitement, but not the right time.
They get dragged into the day-to-day pay,
Yeah.
and they get dragged into 101 hats,
Yeah.
especially as a small business owner. And I suppose it's trying to break free from that.
Yeah. And it's really hard to generalise and say, do this.
Yeah.
But as a starting point, use the red flags. So if there's something that you're not happy about, know that you can change it.
Yeah.
You might not know how to, but you can start asking questions. If you haven't actually identified that there's something I need to change, you can't start asking the questions to find the answers. And it might not be the first answer you get, might not be the second, but it's an intention and it's a direction. So I always sort of think about, you want to, it depends where you are on your business journey as well, but
not an easy question.
You want to I call getting the bedrock in place. And we'll probably touch on the model a bit more. But if you get to the point where, money's all right, I'm in a good place, I feel like what I'm doing works, I feel I've got the right sort of thing, and you just, then you can start thinking about purpose and that kind of stuff. But don't worry about that too much, unless it's sometimes that's the thing that starts off. So it's always contradictory. Some people go into business with the purpose, but they've already got it. If you're just focused on getting your business sorted and getting what works for you, great. That's what it is. And sometimes, again, you say difficult time, maybe it is just, what do I need to get more money in?
Yeah.
To pay the bills, to make sure I'm not panicking. That might, the strapline is, more than just money. I'm not money is freaking critical.
Yeah.
The point about the more than just money thing is excess money is irrelevant. You need it to get things working, to invest, to keep moving, and all the rest. It's fundamental. So it might be a case of what do I need to get money in? It might be a case of just look at your client base and go, do I enjoy working with the people I work with? And it's like, well, there's a few guys like that, and those are a right pain in the.
Yeah.
We don't swear on this podcast, by the way.
You can swear. Go on. I try my hardest not to. I swear every day. So if you want to swear, call it out. Go on.
But yeah, I'm working with a load of fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And one, obviously, that drains enjoyment anyway. But also, they're the ones that take the time. They're the ones that don't pay on time. They're the ones that cause the issue. And they're a drain in every single sense. And because we're thinking about the money. Oh, I need the money. We're scared to let them go.
Yeah.
Because we're focusing on the money. But if we let them go, what we've just done is create space for someone who's nice to come in.
We do this on a kind of yearly basis.
Yeah.
We don't actively go, who's a pain in the arse, let's get rid of them. But, when it comes to renewal, maybe the price is now more expensive. And actually, I find that most difficult customers know they're a difficult customer. And so when you say, look, the price is going up, I can get it cheaper. Well, yeah, you can, but you either go and be a pain in the arse with someone else, or you accept that you're a difficult one and you just pay a little bit more and we'll continue to serve you.
Yeah.
But you're right, maybe we're now at a point where I don't need that income. And so we're a bit more comfortable of saying, actually, if you leave, it's fine, just go.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in the infancy of your business and you need that revenue and you need those sales, making that decision to say,
it's a lot harder.
I don't want to work with you.
But if you're conscious of it, so if you're just starting out, we've all been there. You just do whatever you need to get stuff working.
Yeah.
But if you're conscious of, I've just let an idiot in. Okay, I'll choose that. I'll let the idiot. I'll work with the idiot. But he's going as soon as I can. But while we're not conscious of it, it won't be part of the strategy.
Okay.
Or the tactic, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So you've seen businesses at the absolute worst over the career. What made you decide enjoyment, not money, should be the real kind of matter of success?
So I don't know what's going to be the notes, but just for the listeners and everything. So I used to work in the world of insolvency, as an insolvency practitioner, and that my job was to go into businesses that had just gone bust and trade them, run them, keep them alive best as possible. There's a whole discussion around there, kind of what went on in that kind of space, because you've literally seen everything. But when you're most cases, businesses have gone bust. Yes, I met crooks. Yes, I met incompetence. But 90% of the people are hard-working, well-meaning people who are they're just watching everything they create
go. Yeah.
And it's a death, literally a grief process that you go through, and they're still living it as they're going through it, kind of thing. So you're working alongside these people that are seeing everything they built collapse in front of their eyes. And so one thing that came through is that it made me realize this emotional connection between the individual and their business. And that got me interested in the first place. It's like, well, hang on a sec, there's more to business than just the nuts and bolts of a fundamental. There's what's going on with that particular individual. And then, well, there's two ways of going at this sort of thing, but once I'd moved into the coaching space, I'll tell you how I discovered it first, then there's an overlayer as well. So there was a point in my coaching journey where things were pivoting and shifting a little bit, and I just went through that phase of like, hang on a sec, pull back, who am I? Who do I really like working with? Proper marketing stuff, really, you should be doing on day one, but
because you're so eager to get stuck in.
You just get
like,
stuck on with it.
Let's go. Get my website, get going. Find a client. Oh, who is my client? Yeah.
And then it's like, well, who are the people I really like working with? Why do they come to me, and all the rest of it? And I had this realization that that no one was coming to me because they wanted a six-figure business or anything like that, or they might in the first instance, but then we steered them.
Yeah, that's what they think. That's what they think they want, but actually, what they want is the outcome of having that. Yeah.
And that was it. The successes, the people are just like, do you know, I'm just not happy in what I'm doing. I need to find that disease again, or sort something out, and get them to a point where they were just more relaxed in business at the end of the day, enjoying it more. So that's where the original concept from, going, oh, business enjoyment coach. That sounds like a nippy little title, and that's what it was to start with, just in terms of a nice epithet, and it seemed to resonate when you went marketing and that kind of thing. But then you obviously, let's think about it a bit more. But fundamentally, it's a case of, and you know, you will have met these people. I meet these people. So people who've lost everything, not happy. We get why they're not enjoying it. When I'm networking and meeting people, you speak to everyone. How's it going? It's all right. A bit stressed. A bit busy at the moment. It's always, I mean, very British anyway, but we're always negative anyway. I get that. But most people weren't actually, come on, mate. And then you meet people successful. They've got the awards. They've got the money. A millionaire. Blah, 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 blah. And they're stressed. And I talked at the TED Talk that it's literally taking depression drugs and things to get over all the things that are going on. It's like, you've got everything that society has told us you should have.
Yeah, if you step back, you've got money, the cars, the house, the business. You've got everything you want.
Why the fuck are you not happy?
But then you're the most unhappy person. Yeah.
And this is the point. The society gets us so obsessed on results, on money, on turnover, on profit, shares, returns to shareholder, We forget, not only do we forget about the individuals beneath it, we forget about us beneath it all. And so what became clear is that how happy you are is not correlated to how successful your business is. And for me, that just went, that makes no sense. What about if we actually enjoyed what we did? And again, enjoyment in terms of not a hedonistic, I've got the cars and I'm going partying every night, not sort of that hedonistic sort of sense, but in terms of, you know, getting a buzz out of it and making a difference to people, and really, but thoroughly sort of getting involved and getting a buzz out of it every day, kind of thing. What if that was the measure of success rather than just how much money we made?
Is there a process of kind of the way you go through that with a new client? Like, is there somewhere that you start? Do you do like an overlay of where the business is?
Yeah, I'll get to understand where they are in the person
personally as well, and then try and work out what their goals are and what they want to achieve for.
Well, I'm not a fan of goals.
Okay, which is interesting because we did a session yesterday purely on goal setting.
Yeah, and I mean, there's goals.
Why don't you like goals?
Well, it's okay. First of all, it's one of those buzzwords.
Yeah, it is.
And there's so many things. Oh, you gotta have a goal. Gotta have a goal. What's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goal?
Gotta be smart. Yeah,
smart. Gotta be fucking smart. I do a whole course on this sort of thing, but basically, they don't work. They do in the short term, and they can work, you know. But what tends to happen is you hit the goal because you're put under pressure to do something.
Yeah.
So pressure means pain, means discomfort. So you're putting yourself in a state of discomfort to make something happen, and then you hit the goal, and you come down again.
Yeah. What's next?
Yeah. You relax because you put all that effort in. Calm down. And so, set another goal. So you just put yourself under permanent pressure to keep achieving things. And if you miss it, fuck,
Yeah.
Oh no! I was going for my £1 million turnover this year and only made 990,000. I'm a loser. Yeah.
How depressed. Gonna stop the business. Let's close. We're done.
Whereas, if you're doing something you want to do, you'll do it.
Yeah. If you're enjoying it and it's not feeling like work and you're getting up because you want to do that every day.
That doesn't mean you're not going to get challenges and things that are difficult, but you've got to. So I'm all in favour of directions.
Yeah.
And goals should be a milestone. Goals are constraining. Goals are things you need to hit. Goals are need to achieve. Whereas milestones are a way of actually tracking. Well, where are we? Okay. Well, let's take a moment to see how we're doing. Are we going in the right direction? Are we happy with it? It's a lot less pressured. I'm being quite pedantic, maybe, and it's a subtle shift. But it's the approach to the.
So it's more like a journey.
Yes.
And it's looking at the wins along the way instead of trying to have that up and down of success, failure. It's like, well, this is where we're starting. That's where we'd like to be.
I mean, as you use as an example of a cliche, world peace, whatever. Never going to achieve it. So
I don't know. He's doing all right, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
He's
stopped all these wars.
He's got his
Nobel Peace Prize.
He's got his Nobel Peace Prize now, hasn't he? Stole it off someone else.
So one, you can set a goal that you don't think you'll achieve, and then you can beat yourself up because I'm never going to do it. And however, you then flip it round and say, well, actually, it's a good direction to aim in. And every time I stop two people fighting in the car park or get a reconciliation of two people, that's taking me that's progress, that's a success. Whereas if we focus on the outcome as a result, it's a failure every single time until we've hit there.
Yeah.
So we're either on a journey of failure until one moment, which may or may not happen, and then there's something else anyway, or we can spin it round and be successful every day.
I goal set. So I do write stuff down and what I want to achieve and when I want to achieve it, but I don't necessarily strive at that. Like, it's definitely a journey thing. Like the journey was fitness, and like the goals were to do the 7 summits, but it wasn't, I've got to do that or I fail. It was,
and
actually, I want to be fit.
The key thing behind it. I do the goals are a bad thing almost as a bit of a,
it's a challenge to the norm, isn't it?
It's attachment. That's the key thing, when we get attached to it, and our entire, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but our sense of well-being and mental health, everything is attached to achieving it. And it's a Buddhist concept at the end of the day. I'm not Buddhist, but it's that whole, if you let go of it, but still work towards it, then that's what you're looking to do. Whereas if it becomes these be all and end all stuff.
Yeah.
And the example I use this as I think it's one of the books, but it's the England rugby team from 2003 when we won the World Cup. And if you look at what Clive Woodward did from when they lost in 1999, he made this prediction. He set a goal for 2003 and absolutely achieved it and nailed it. You cannot, smart goal, bam, beautiful, and we won the World Cup. Fucking brilliant. Best day of my life. No, I've told my wife that.
Stop recording.
Wedding day was best day. That was best moment. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway. But then you look at England's performance after the World Cup, and we immediately lost the next match, and we just went downhill, and it took us decades to actually get into it. And you watch that cycle every single time. 66 Football World Cup, we won that, and then went down. There's different ways of doing it. The All Blacks, consistently the most successful team, and actually they've got in their own heads a bit more now recently, but once they got their heads, because they got obsessed with the World Cup and they weren't winning, but it's just continual improvement.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. I was at a cybersecurity event, and one of the players from 2003 was doing doing the initial kind of intro talk. I can't remember who it was now, but it was really interesting hearing him talk about how the little things they changed, the things they changed in the dressing room, and trying to find those small ways of winning, like changing the kit.
Shirt at half time, so it's a new start.
Because of the weight, it used to be so heavy because it'd be wet
and muddy.
And those small things on the way to trying to win made a huge difference.
And then they let it all go.
Yeah. Do you think people celebrate their wins enough?
No.
Next question. It's a British culture, I guess. Success is one of those awkward kind of conversations sometimes. Like there's especially that feels like at the moment, like every business owner is getting battered.
Yeah, and it's post-imperial guilt. If you think, we talk about, very British not to do this, not to do that, but you go back 200 years when we were the empire and all the rest of it, very different attitude.
Yeah.
We now look back at it and realise, maybe we shouldn't have been like that. And then we look at Americans and go, oh, that's us back then, isn't it? Yeah. They're just modelling what we did. Oh, yeah, that's right, because they are us. But yeah, so we've gone through that, through the loss of the empire, through the war and all the rest of it, and we've seen the tall poppy get cut down, and we now don't associate with, maybe we shouldn't be that way. So we're now worried about being that Britain again.
Yeah.
We want to be a different Britain. Some people won't go back to that, but okay, let's not get into that sort of thing.
Yeah. Finding that balance.
Yeah, balance is all about. Then the other thing, I know we talked about this before, is the other thing we don't do, which I'd like to go in different directions, is celebrate our failures.
Yeah.
Because, and again, we've got to be mindful we're very lucky to live in this country and in this society. It's the worst case it gets is bad, but no one's dying. If you go to Africa or India or something and get on your uppers there, and you've got a different scenario than you do here. So again, worked with the people who've gone through, lost absolutely everything. I can tell you they're okay.
Yeah, there is light eventually
there
at the end of the tunnel.
There is a way through. There is support, etc., etc. So we get hung up on when things go wrong with failures. Oh, doom and gloom, I'm a failure, all these sort of self-issue, blah, blah, blah. But actually, we know you've got to go through the failures to learn, to find out. You never get it right first time.
Yeah.
Your best stuff comes on the back of the stuff that went horribly wrong.
Yeah, if we've done 27 acquisitions now, and the 23 or 4 that have worked, probably haven't learned that much from. They've probably got easier because of the stuff that we've learned, but when they integrate and the staff move and the customers are happy, everything just kind of works. When it's a disaster, that's kind of when you start learning. And I've always tried to sit and write everything down when I'm going through those failures, because you're always going to have hindsight, and then it's going to be like, well, was it quite as it looked, how I remember it? Whereas if I write it down at the time, I can look back and go, oh yeah, I remember doing that. That was a stupid idea. Why did we do this? Why did we do that? I can't remember. And so we tend to write it all down, and you learn so much more from the ones that are an absolute.
And again, it's mindset. You took those failures, you looked at them. You didn't sit there going, oh my God, I'm a loser. Why did I do that? And well, there might be a little bit, but you don't hang on to that. And
it's the mindset of, is anyone dead?
Yeah.
Literally where I start. What is the worst case scenario here?
Absolutely.
If the worst case scenario is well, the business might have to close, and especially when we've bought a lot from insolvency, we'll take a punt on the basis of, if we can't save it, it was going to close anyway. So as long as we don't get to the point of, is someone going to die, I'm kind of all right in that risk scenario. But the lessons you learn in that process are huge, and if you can take them into the next thing you do, I think it's massive. Which is why I think you see a lot of business owners that have gone through insolvency. It might take a year or 2 to get back on the feet, but then they go again and they go better and harder, and they then maybe understand cash flow better and debt better and management better because they've seen the failure side of it. I seem to see that a lot with people that have kind of left the business that we've bought, re-going again in a relatively short period of time. But it's hard because they've lost the baby, they've lost all that emotion,
and that can weigh on them. That can become a thing that holds them down. They can slip into depression and that kind of thing. That absolutely happens, and worse. I can tell you loads of stories where someone has died, basically. So it's literally a phrase I use, but sometimes the answer is actually yes. But not on the consequence of what we've done. Hopefully you've got your health and safety right and all that kind of thing. But yeah, so reflecting on it properly and looking on what I can learn is the value from a failure. So when you're going through a failure, excellent. What am I going to learn from this? Because if you've not got it right, you've now got an opportunity to get it better.
100%.
Isn't that great? Isn't that an amazing thing to think about? It's like, I can do even better next time because I'm going to learn from this. So celebrate your failures.
Cool. Nice quote. If business is so simple, Why is it so hard? That came from the book, and you say it's because of people. So what
business is simple, people are complicated. Yeah. And again, you know, the experience of doing the insolvency stuff, I've worked on so many different types of businesses of all sorts.
Yeah.
As do you.
Yeah, as do I.
Different context.
The other side of it.
The other side of it, yeah. But, you know, I'm literally running them, and then bingo halls, and I've built oil rigs, and metal bashers, and fashion designers, and all the rest of it. So they've all got their own idiosyncrasies, but at the heart of it, business is simple. Yeah. What do people need? What are they prepared to pay for it? How can you produce it then for a profit? And how you get people working around it? You know, you boil it down to its absolute basic essences, then you've just got to work out the specifics, and then it all works from there. What stops those things happening is
us.
And people not in the right place, and it's people that stops it happening. There's an argument that when the robots take over and AI, business become a lot more effective. Wow. And there is a utopian version of AI and the robots taking over where everyone's happy. Let's go down the Star Trek route. But yeah, if you put robots in charge, businesses would just a bit of negotiation, sort things out, boom, 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 systems and process, away you go, job done. But we were talking beforehand, sort of thing. But yeah, okay. So I need certain things to happen, and I don't have the time to do it. If I build a system and process and train people up, then I can step away from it, let other things do it. Yet I'm the sort of person that gets my hands in and get involved and get stuff done. I can't let it go.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of business owners struggling with that?
Yeah.
Is that a pride thing, or is it a control thing?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the journey. So most people who sort of started from scratch, they've just done everything themselves. Yeah. That's how they've got there, and it's been absolutely successful. So they've got a body of work that they can demonstrably prove my method works. Yeah. When I get involved, I solve the problem, I sort it out. You cannot tell me it's wrong. And you're right, that is true. But there's another way of being. There's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called "What Got You Here Won't Get You There," and the fundamental point of it is that the thing that we are best at is the thing that will stop us getting to the next level, because we create our own little traps, because we fall into it. Now that's other things that might be an example will be if you're if you're a people pleaser type person naturally, which is my style. You'll do anything for anyone. People will talk about, if you've got a problem, give Andy a call. He'll sort it out, not a problem. Well, what happens is you have no life of your own because you're sorting everyone's problems out.
Yeah. You can't say no.
Because you can't say no. If you are a great problem solver and can really sort stuff out, guess what happens? You get loads of problems to solve, and you don't have any time to yourself. So you have to work with your strengths, use your strengths, but you've also, again, back to being mindful, can we step out and find a different way of doing things every now and again that actually allows me to step away from that, or maybe take that skill and apply it in a different area. So if you're a problem solver, instead of getting in and solving how I'm going to, the nuts and bolts and the nitty gritty, get someone else to do that, and you can sort the problems out in terms of the finance, or the problems of this, or the problem, lift up to another level.
Yeah, so you elevate the problems that you're dealing with instead of dealing with the day-to-day. Do you think it feels like a lot of business owners struggle with that because of trust? Like the
trust,
the biggest thing I've had to go.
If I don't do it, it won't get done properly.
Yeah, like you trying to trust people to just get on with their job is quite hard, because, as you said, you've always done it, so you know that you can do it. You probably can't do it the best way anymore. And over the years, I talk about growing up pain. Like, you grow up from £1 million to £500,000, and then, as you said, what got you there is not going to get you to the next one. So you keep growing up, and these pains just change over time. And the financials is the one I really struggle to let go of, because every time I've tried to let go fully, someone will send £10 to the wrong person, and then it just utterly pisses me off. And then I'm like, God damn it, right, I'm having control again, and no one else is doing it again. And you end up in this awkward position of then, like, a supplier needs paying. Well, no one can do it because you need John. Well, John's away, he's in a meeting, he's doing this, he's doing that. And it's all that just growing up pain. And it all comes down to kind of just trusting that the people you've hired can do the right job. And that's what
Out of interest, just using that example, at any time in your life, do you think you might have paid £10 to the wrong account?
Oh, 100%. 100% don't get it right all the time.
Yeah, and this is it. Part of that sort of delegation process is letting them fuck up.
Yeah.
They have to make the mistake. So they remember what we were talking about. And we expect other people to be almost better than we are in some ways. So this level of expectation is ridiculous. And what happens is we don't tell them properly, we don't communicate, but we don't give them the system, we don't give them whatever, we don't give them enough information, and we don't give them the opportunity to make the mistake, to learn from it, and roll it forward.
Yeah, here's the job. Go. You've made a mistake.
Why are you not as good as me?
I'll have it back. Thank you very much. Don't you do it. You can't do it. It's true, and I just feel like as a relatively small business, every business owner has that pain. Like, they don't serve the customers the same way, they don't greet the customers the same way. Well, have you explained how you want it done? Is there a process for it? No, there's no process. Why? Because I haven't got the time to do the process. So we hired that person and just kind of let them go. I have been there. I don't sit here like I'm the best.
And the skill, the knowledge, the whatever you want to call it, of training someone is completely different to the skill and knowledge of doing something. So it's not our wheelhouse. So we struggle at it. But we're also intelligent people that can learn things.
Yeah, sometimes.
So it won't be perfect first time round. It won't be perfect second time round. It'll never be perfect.
Perfection's one of those things, isn't it? That I think you try and aim for it all the time, but
it's the trap, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
actually, just doing something at a good level, a good standard all the time.
Good distinction I came up with, and it's perfection versus perfecting. So perfection is the negative trap kind of thing. If it's not good enough, don't let it out type thing. Whereas perfecting is the concept of, no, we'll get it out there and then we'll improve it. An oft used quote or a scenario is like Microsoft or any software producer. They release their next software knowing damn well it's not working.
Yeah.
They've absolutely fine. It's 80% there, but they know it's not right.
Day one. Bugs released.
And then they get all the feedback and they change it. So rather than holding back and never releasing it because it's not perfect, let it go out, fail, and then perfect rather than perfection.
Yeah, well, you see that for like the Microsoft example. Like, literally, they'll launch Windows 11, and on day one of Windows 11 being released, there was patches to go in it for security.
And everyone mumbles and grumbles and go bloody. But what happens when 12 come out? Well, they all buy 12, don't they?
Yeah, they all still do it. They all still upgrade and pay the money, and they just accept that it's not ever going to be 100%. And
whereas in the small business mind, we go, oh, I can't upset the customer. Well, oh no, we've got to make sure they're absolutely, customer's always right, kind of thing, and we get worried about upsetting them.
Yeah.
Well, if you're doing your job right, they can cope with a bit of upset.
Yeah, they'll come back. Hold on, I've lost my train of thought there. Kind of moving on, success isn't money. And I know you've done your TEDx talk on this as well, which I kind of chuckled at when you pulled all the cash out. You haven't got a pocket on you today.
No.
Obviously not going to pay me, which is a shame.
And it's no cash anymore anyway, is there?
Well, yeah, that's true. Just give me your card if you want. I'll take card as well as cash. But are business owners chasing money too much because that's what society tells them they should be doing?
Yeah, I think most people, if you sit down with them, have a conversation, they know damn well that it's not the thing. It's the pattern they run into. And, it's been the overriding message for thousands of years. At the end of the day, it's just got worse since the Industrial Revolution and from the 80s onwards and the rest of it. What Trump does is not helping. It's like ignore whatever he says. Ultimately, he's what can I do to make as much money for myself? That's his fundamental mindset.
Yeah.
Classic example also in the water companies as an example, or any, it's like they're making money for their shareholders. Tick.
Yeah. The rest of it doesn't matter. The fact that all the pollution's in the river, like
So, but you go on social media, whatever. It's like how to build a six-figure business, seven-figure business. Are you leaving profits on the table? It's all money focused.
So it's a societal trap on what success is.
Yeah.
Success is freedom, happiness, getting up every day. But I think business owners are like, well, to get all of that, I need freedom. To get freedom, I need money. I was at an event with the CEO of Oak North, so Joel, the other night, and he was speaking about building a unicorn, so $1 billion business. And he was like, but why do that when, what do you need to live? Say you need £1 million a year to live. Well, you don't need to sell a business for $1 billion. You need to sell a business for 20 million and then live off the income and the return off that. So society says, well, everyone wants to build a unicorn. But actually, if you need £1 million, if that's what your income level has to be, well, then you need to build a business that's 20 million or 30 million in revenue, in value, not $1 billion. But the society goes, no, we've got to push on. We've got to set that next goal. We've got to be stupid. We've got to constantly achieve. And that pressure on a new business owner is horrendous.
Yeah, and the obsession with growth.
Yeah.
Next year's got to be better than next year's got to be better than last year. But there's a caveat. When they say better, they mean more money, more sales, more profit. It's got to be bigger. GDP, it's got to go bigger. Well, GDP is a totally ridiculous measure. It's
in a lot of the insolvent stuff that we've bought, they've fallen into that trap. They've constantly tried to increase revenue, and they've gone from profitability. Then they'll borrow, and then they miss the target. Then they can't pay the debt, and then all of a sudden they're in this spiral of, well, I need more cash. So then they're like, right, well, how do I get more cash? I'll borrow more. Yeah. Because cash today solves the problem for tomorrow.
Overtrading is one of the big issues.
It doesn't solve next week or next month, but it solves today. I can pay the staff. And then, of course, they miss the next payment and the next payment, and it all falls over. And I see that time and time again. Like, it's such a vicious circle.
There's a stat that when you come out of a recession, you get more insolvencies than going in.
Say that again.
When you get more insolvencies coming out of a recession than going in, because they're growing again. Yeah, and they overtrade. So to go from here to here requires money, because you need to put investment and all the rest of it. And so you actually get more companies tripping over their feet and falling over when you're coming out of the recession than when you actually go in.
It's quite an interesting one, though, because at the moment, insolvencies are kind of flat. They're definitely higher than...
Oh, the last 10 years are just weird.
Like,
financially, it's just...
Yeah, I'm sat there going, there's going to be so much opportunity to buy, and I don't want that to come across like a vulture, but I have been called one. But there is just a lot of disruption in the market. But at the moment, you're waiting for that wave of insolvency to come. And it feels like everyone I speak to feels a little bit kind of distressed and panicked, and life's tough, but there doesn't seem to be that huge wave. No. But you're now starting to see the big ones go. Hospitality's having a horrible time at the moment. So you are starting to see it, but it's not quite gripped on yet. But it's an interesting one that you see more. I suppose, as you said, it's just an overtrading position.
Yeah, and that's a stat over time kind of thing. I say we're a weird situation. I left the insolvency world in 2011, obviously not long after the 2008 crash, and in that period there were insolvency companies that went bust, because they were expecting a wave of insolvencies. They stacked up their staff and built their team and all the rest of it. Didn't come. Overtraded. Sure. The irony.
You see it all the time. Like I signed an NDA yesterday for an accountancy firm, 4 branches. So it turns over about £1 million a year. And you sit there and think, how is an accountancy firm of that size going through a restructuring event? And you just... do as I say, not do as I do, I guess. I haven't delved into it yet, but I will do.
You get caught, it's wood for trees, isn't it? You just get caught up in your own stuff. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, there used to be a joke at university. You know, your geography student would get lost. The economics student would be running out of money. Yeah. You know, that sort of thing. It's whatever. And then the other thing was... during our insolvency days, there'd always be a little bit of a not necessarily a checklist, but if you went into a business and it had won the Queen's Award for Industry, there was the director had a massive desk and there was a fish tank in the lobby,
There's a reason they're going insolvent.
Yeah, you thought, yeah, but always the Queen's Award for industry. The number of times.
I wonder how much that is to buy.
But again, they get overconfident, overtrading, all the rest of it. And given it, I tend to work with smaller businesses and one-man bands and that kind of thing, because I just like working with people. But I don't have a limit, but they tend to be. But there's someone that came to me, and he's a graphic designer, and he had a nice little business, and but he needed a little bit more money because they had a third kid coming, and what he was earning wasn't enough to cover for a third kid kind of thing. He wasn't interested in growing this massive thing and building a team. He just had to unlock a few mindset stuff about charging a bit more and getting in touch with a few people and relaxing and not doing so much, makes his work a bit easier kind of thing. After about, I don't know, maybe a year or so, we got him to the point where not only is he earning more than enough, like double his income, his missus was able to give up work and go and do what she wanted to do as well, So, but that was all in the head.
Yeah.
But he was not interested in building an empire. He just wanted to have a nice little business.
Needed someone to talk to and have a bit of confidence that he could take that next step.
But he just wanted to get something that worked for him.
Yeah.
He does what he loves doing, and he's not worried about it, and it works for his family as well. He doesn't want to be a bloody
CEO with 10 designers and all the stress that goes with that. Yeah. I think people kind of fall into that trap of thinking they have to go big all the time, and taking a step back and just going, do you know what? I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I don't need to.
And then you can grow in different ways. So when I'm talking about the bits tingle sort of thing and all the rest of it, then, well, actually, the journey. I always say the journey of business is the journey of self. Anyway, when you go into business, you find out stuff about yourself you never even knew.
Yeah.
And for your business to grow, you've got to grow anyway. So the work's got to be on you for the business to work. But when you get to that comfortable position, actually, that's a really opportunity to go even deeper and broader and wider with yourself, so you can fully step into a different level of enjoyment in your business. Everything's ticking along, everything's fine, 7 out of 10. But then that's the opportunity not to go bigger in terms of the business, but bigger in terms of yourself, or wider, as someone uses as a good excuse.
So that feels like a great thing to then move on to the business enjoyment model itself. So there's kind of 4 stages to it. Do you want to talk us through those stages?
Yeah, it's I'll say it's loosely based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's not that loose at all. but it's certainly come from there. But it's not necessarily stepped. But anyway, the starting point. But if people are familiar with that model, go and have a look at it. It's a similar sort of thing. But bottom line, the starting point is we need to feel safe. So yes, we do need to get enough money coming in so that we are paying the bills and putting food on the table, blah blah blah. But also physically, mentally, are we looking after ourselves in this process? Because it's so easy to get sucked into the business, and suddenly the brain goes, the health goes.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. I suppose we go back to before we started filming, me talking about 2, 3, 4 years ago when I was 27 stone, drinking 10 cans of Red Bull a day, and working 100 hours a week. If you in that mentality, you're kind of surviving. You're not safe. You're just doing what you have to do to get every day driven down. You're taking more sugar and more crap in every day to try and push through. And is my business better now that I'm not drinking 10 cans of Red Bull? 100%. So yeah, I feel you on that health side of things completely.
Yeah.
I wonder whether a lot of business owners let that slide.
Very easy.
I've got to grow. I've got to get more money, and I've got and trying to take that step back and say, well, to perform at my best, I've got to be fit to do that. It's quite a kind of a tough thing to accept that you're not performing at your best. Like, to swallow that pride and go, no.
Yeah, and even just having a break. And again, we were talking often, just every now and just a day off, just calm down, have a day or a week off, whatever. It's hard to do when you're working for yourself. Holidays are suddenly like, but I'm not earning money. But if you look at an extreme athlete sort of thing, elite athlete, not extreme, 100-meter runner, their performance is somewhere between 9.5 and 10.5 seconds, or depending what they do, 4 times a year or something, or whatever it might be. That's them performing. Then there's the training, and a fundamental part of what they do is doing nothing.
Yeah.
As an athlete, you have to rest to let the body repair. So it's part of the program. It's built in. And that's kind of what we need to do as well, is build in the recovery time to be our sharpest when we're actually performing. Otherwise, you just drain out.
Drop down.
So that's the thing. Now, there's a flip side as well. There's a difference between feeling safe and being safe. So I've worked with a number of people who are, in this general space, we're kind of very often in a panic mode. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And we don't realise that we don't need to be. So again, it all depends where you are. But I've looked at people and it's sort of like, oh, my business needs to be making this much and this sort of thing. It's like, well, hang on, let's pull back a sec. Well, how much are you actually making for me? Oh, I'm only making this. Okay. And you're married? Yeah. How much is your other half do? Well, he does this. And we've got this and we got this. It's just look at the big, you're all right.
Yeah. It's not as bad as you think.
You're okay. So at which point are you, who's dying? At which point are you going bust? Oh, no, I suppose it's just, but I need this to work. Okay, that's ego. That I might say it directly to them, but we recognise that very often it's ego, it's pride, it's like this needs to work because it's my baby and I need to demonstrate it. It doesn't necessarily need to if you've got everything else. So look at the bigger picture, and check where you actually are, because sometimes we're a lot safer than we think we are. And then we can take a little panic off. We like a little bit of edge to give us a bit of shove. we don't want to tip into panic, So that's level one, feel safe.
Okay.
So feel being the key word there. Then I flip between the phrases on this one. Historically, it's find your tribe. I'm shifting it towards create your community. Tribe has some weighting around it, but also has a tendency, but the point being is that you find the right people to work with. That's the critical thing. Find your tribe can have a thought of finding a group that exists and step into it. Then we're fitting in, and fitting is not belonging. Creating community is actually working with clients you love working with, build it, finding the right team members, the right suppliers as well, so that you become part of a ecosystem rather than it's just I'm running a business. That are all on the same page, and that takes a long time to find, sort of thing. But and also to find the right people that you're going to work with and the rest of it, and very often requires us to drop some shields, to start being vulnerable, to start showing who we are. Because if we most of us go through life with our armour, fully
the barrier
up, and so we can't truly connect with people. The people don't see you; they just see the armour, and then trust breaks down, and then people don't perform. And so you need, but it's really scary to release that off. So this is so everything here is there's a business element, there's a personal element as well. This is the whole point about the model. So we've got to kind of drop the shields a little bit, allow the right people in, prepared to get hurt.
Take that risk.
Take a risk again. So that's then create your community. So you're working with the right people. And then I call it inner confidence is the next one. So this is knowing that you are making a difference, that you're doing good stuff. So we tap into sort of the what's the Maslow expression, but it's esteem, isn't it, in Maslow sort of thing. We can have external esteem, which is where people tell good things to us. Oh, you're doing amazing work. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. And then in our heads we're going, oh, I'm not. It wasn't that good. Oh, I could have been better. Could have been better. Yeah. And that self-chat and that
self. You just eat yourself up.
Yeah.
Overthinking type of environment.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people in that space. Is it British again? I don't know, but we're bad at talking positively ourselves. For me, inner confidence is the state of doesn't matter what happens, good, bad, failure, whatever it might be. And I've done a good job. I'm happy with it, and I can take for it and build from it. So I will take the results as feedback rather than being connected to the result.
Okay.
The inner confidence is I can do stuff and I can work to my strength and I know I'm in the right direction. And from there I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Irrespective of what actually happens.
Just having some self-belief.
Self-belief, yeah. And this is the thing when people talk about confidence. And you look at a confident person, that kind of thing. People think, oh, they just get everything right, don't they? They say, no, they don't. They're not scared of getting it wrong. Yeah. That's the critical thing. A real confident person will just give something a go. Didn't work. What doesn't matter? Yeah. So we're back. We talked about the failures, that kind of thing. So those are the three things. So if you're getting those things right, and they can be done at the same time. They can overlap. They can miss and match or whatever. But if you're getting those sort of three things right, then you've kind of got the bedrock in place. I was talking about earlier on. Then you can get up to like a 7 out of 10 quite easily, kind of thing. And then when the time is right for you, never force it, then you can start thinking about, okay, what's the next thing, what's that purpose thing I can really step into, where I can take all the skills and stuff I've learned and then channel it into something that actually really makes a difference, that means something to me, not just for the sake of it. You know, we can have stuff where we give to charity and that kind of thing, but
it's finding that thing that you really enjoy and you'll do without being paid, without kind of anyone telling you you've got to do it, just getting up every day and going, I'm going to do that today.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean you're not going to get paid.
Yeah, but it's having the comfort that it doesn't matter anymore, because you are just going to go and do it anyway because that's what you want to do.
And then all the challenges and the barriers and all the problems, it's just something to solve.
Yeah,
it's just something we'll work our way through it because we're still going in the right direction.
Where do people most get stuck?
Can we give a general answer?
Yeah.
That purpose thing's bloody hard, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to pretend you don't just like wake up, flick through a book and think, I found it. Some people are lucky. Sometimes it comes from trauma. The drug addict that then sort of goes out to help people and get them clean, kind of sometimes very much related to a thing. But if you to take that shift is one of I think as a society is our, if I could change anything, if I could get in and really if we took all the people that make millions and millions and millions and got them to take all that skill, all that knowledge, twisted it round so then they were doing something that was actually making a difference in the world with all their abilities and knowledge, my God, wouldn't that make a massive difference in the world? For a small business owner, it just depends on their makeup, because essentially the big trap will come from from the patterns that they're running. We tend to be driven either by a fear of losing everything, a fear of rejection, or a fear of not being good enough. They tend to, which are tapping to those other levels. Those are the three fears that mainly drive us. Sometimes we have a couple of them, so it will depend on the individual. But yeah, so it might be a case of fear of rejection might be the thing that just stops them. You've got to help them get through that. It might be that fear of not feeling good enough. It might be that. So it really does depend on the individual.
Okay. Do you think you can enjoy business even when it's hard?
Yes. And this is part of the thing is we've got to make sure my definition of enjoyment. So I alluded to happiness earlier on sort of thing, but there is a difference. So happiness is an in the moment thing. So you can change your mood like that. You can be on top of the world and everything's great, and then someone very close to you dies and you're down.
Yeah.
You can have things be bad. You can take certain drugs and be suddenly very happy. It's possible. So moods in a moment in time. So the point about enjoyment is not about every single day being amazing and not being any problems. But we know what we're doing is going in the right direction, and we know that it's worthwhile and it's something to pursue. So so it is about this journey thing. I'm going to take a risk here and ask a question I don't know the answer to.
Go on.
For one, you climbed Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
And I imagine that was tough. And I imagine at the top was amazing. If the clouds were out and all the rest of it. I'm hoping so anyway. Maybe it's cloudy, you didn't see anything. Would you say you enjoyed going up Kilimanjaro?
I think it was probably the hardest climb I've done.
Don't deny that.
But the feeling at the top was amazing. Yeah, 100% thoroughly enjoyed it.
But actually the act of going up.
There was definitely tough times in that climb. I think it was the first mountain I'd ever done. So we set off at midnight and you can't see the top. It's pitch black. And we walked for 7-8 hours up. And there was times on that where I didn't enjoy it. I was sat there, I'm walking going, what am I doing on this mountain? Like, this is shit. This is hard. This is grim. You've got all of the guides singing their hearts out to you. Like, I've got some video footage where it's the middle of the night, 3-4 o'clock in the morning. They're shoving what they called Kilimanjaro cocaine sugar down your neck, so you're hyper as anything on all this sugar, and it's just grim. Like, you just don't know what you're doing. You can't breathe because the oxygen levels are low, and you just got to plod it on, and it is hard. But did I enjoy it? Yes. There was definitely tough parts to it. It didn't help that for anyone that hasn't done Kili, there's kind of the stellar point, which is the top of the walk that you do to get up to the top, and then you go all the way around to get to the actual summit around the back. But when you get to stellar point, you think, I've done this. Like, get in. And then so I sat down at Stella Point, where got my sandwich box out to have my lunch, because I mean, it was probably 8 o'clock in the morning, but it was lunchtime then for my body. Start eating. And Nim stood up and went, no, we're not at the top. You've got to go. You've got to keep walking. If we don't go now, everyone's going to catch us up, and then we're going to have to queue for a photo. You need to walk. And it was like, huh? No. So I'd gone from that elation, that enjoyment. You've completed it, to, oh, right, okay.
That's the goal thing I was talking about,
isn't
it?
It is, the 100%. And I mean, I am 100% in that trap. You know, I've come back from Killy, and then I've gone and done Aconcagua. I've come back from Aconcagua. I've gone and done like, yeah, you've got me on that goals. Like, at some point, I'm not going to summit one, and it's going to be miserable.
Yeah.
But yeah, did I enjoy Killy? Yes, 100%.
So can you see how, even though there were times where it was grim, it was tough, it was hard, and then we could make it better with that attachment to the end and all that kind of thing. But in principle, we can enjoy it.
Yeah, the journey is the enjoyment.
So yes, it's going to be tough times, but understand why it's tough and why you're doing it. And it's like, is this something that I can change and therefore I don't need to do it, or is it something I just need to do for a bit to get the thing I want?
Yeah.
And so, okay, I'm prepared to sacrifice A to get B, whatever it might be. So, yeah, I don't pretend. You don't jump out of bed. All the bollocks about jump out with a singing song in your heart and smiling. That's the thing. No, oh, can I get up and like, oh shit, the computer's gone down again. You know, whatever. Stuff happens, and then companies go bust on you and all this kind of. So it's recognizing you're in a tough environment, but being okay with it. Yeah. And it's such a subtle shift. The phrase I use: you've got to get comfortable in chaos. Yeah. We get obsessed with being able to control everything and getting specific outputs and being predict everything and all the rest of it. Nah. You've got to get into the maelstrom and be okay to be in the maelstrom. And then if you've got a direction, you know which way you're heading, but steer your way through it. And then, if you're trusting yourself that, you know what happened? This is chaos, but I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I'll be all right. So that's kind of my game.
So we've kind of covered off that money maybe isn't the success.
Yeah, it's really important to start with. Then it becomes less important.
Yeah. So is there measures or KPIs instead of revenue that founders should maybe focus on?
I'm working on it to come.
That's the next book.
Yeah. That's kind of the part of the mission. That's part of my purpose. Yeah, is to try and work out, is there a universal thing? Until that point, we've just got to sort of take what's important for us. But it's taking those things into consideration. So the whole point with those different levels, it's like, well, hang on a sec. Yes, I will need to make some money, but how do I feel? How the people around me. The people I'm working with, do I feel good? Just what's important to you, and use those as your metrics. And it'll be different for everybody. That's the thing. There's probably some universal stuff that we all want to, tap into. But at the end of the day, we're all going to have our own specific stuff that's going to be unique to us. So it's being mindful of that, and say use the model as a starting point to kick up some ideas. But it's like, well, hang on a sec. How many holidays did I get this year? None. Not a good measure, is it? Yeah. If they're important to you. How close did I come? What's my energy levels like? Avoiding that burnout. Who did I help? What I don't know what business you're doing, whatever. So, but it's finding out clearly as quickly as you can what's important to you, what matters, and what you're not prepared to lose and sacrifice in terms of winning something else.
You mentioned burnout there. Have you ever been at that level?
I would say no. In corporate days, I got pretty stressed, definitely. Definitely not thinking right at times. When I stepped out, again, got very stressed. Bear in mind, I'm an accountant by back training, and I work with people who lost money, and on an arena where people made loads of money, and then I'm earning no money when I start off. I'm watching all my savings sort of drift away as I start trying to work out that's not working. I had real money issues which I had to work on because it was like. I don't know why I smashed the microphone there. That might not have done it any favours, but anyway, probably worked with the sound. So again, so I don't think I ever hit burnout where I just absolutely crashed, but there's definitely a lot of work I had to do on myself to get through.
And do you think that drives your purpose then? Like knowing that you've been at least that stressed and you want to try and help founders, entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever, try and avoid it? Is that what you're getting your drive from?
Yeah, because it's not necessary. But it's difficult to change. I don't want to make light of it.
Yeah, 100%.
But I get into my background's business, but my shift into is getting to understand people. And I've got some more weird and wonderful stuff to sort of change the way we relate to emotions and memories and things and that kind of stuff, so that we can actually change our reaction and the way we do. So my focus normally is get the person in the right space, and then we can build the business stuff on top. Because you get somebody good about, or get rid of the bad patterns and point in the right direction, then they normally just fly.
Yeah.
So it's the person's much more individual. But yeah, we do it ourselves.
100%. If someone watching this is really struggling, hating their business, what is the first thing that maybe you'd say just start there? Yeah,
well, again, I sort of alluded to the bits tingling thing. If they hate their business, or if they actually hate the business itself, maybe get out.
Yeah.
One thing we also have an issue with is we make a statement, this is what we're going to do, and then we can't change it because we've bought into an identity or a thing, or that failure thing again. There's nothing. Change it.
Just pivot and go and do something else.
If you actually hate the business, do something different. If it's something around it, if you love the thing in the middle, but it's all the stuff around it, well, do something different. Well, I don't know what to do differently. Well, what's the thing, first of all? Okay. Well, is there a different way of doing it? Okay. Is there something I need that can help me to do that? Yeah, probably. Speak to someone else. Yeah. Speak to someone else in a different situation, a different world that's got a different perspective, that will look at it from a different way and go, you don't need to do that, don't I? No.
Yeah.
And then, as I say, if you absolutely hate things, then yeah, absolute change. The real lesson is for those people in the middle where it's like, oh, I'm all right, it's okay, that sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, but maybe more.
Could it be better?
Could it be better?
Could you enjoy it more?
Yeah. Are you tolerating? That's the question. Toleration is the key word. We talk about resilience and that kind of stuff, and resilience is really important. I'm not dedicated at all, but it's okay to a point. Yeah. And then it tips over where we still bashing our head against a brick wall and I've got to keep resilient, I must not give up. Oh, you're just tolerating it.
Yeah. I think when we put this out, I might put a poll with it as well, just to try and...
So you get the score.
Just either we'll do like what score, how you're feeling right now, like on that 1 to 10, or just are people happy? Are people frustrated? Like, it would just be interesting to see where people feel at the moment. Yeah. Just to see where they are. It might give you loads of leads as well.
But that's not what it's about.
That's not what it's about, no.
But also, it's just, here I am now, and I might be let's use Kilimanjaro as an example. So it's dark, I'm hungry, I'm knackered, I'm miserable. Okay. What's my thought about the future? That's me now. What are my attitudes to tomorrow, to next week, to next month, to next year? Is that incredibly negative? Or it's like, okay, I'm shit now, but I know that there's going to be better times ahead. That's a different situation to be.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking it's all doom and gloom all the way down, hang on a second, we need to have a conversation. If you're thinking, oh, it's all going to be, okay, it's not all going to be roses, but I can see the way forward, that's a very different situation to be in.
I'll get through this pain.
Yeah.
Because I know tomorrow's coming.
Yeah. So that's more hopeful than...
Yeah. I spoke to someone the other week about the power of yet. I can't do it. I can't do it yet.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really simple, powerful thing of, actually, like, to change the way a sentence works quite quickly in your mindset. Is just saying, well, I don't know how to do that yet. I'll go and find out. I just the way they explained it was quite an interesting logic, really, and such a simple word.
Because I was thinking about that when sort of thinking about this interview sort of thing, and it's just a great word, but it's also part of the dichotomy of business. I said it's simple, but it's also completely contradictory. Life is contradictory at the end of the day. Every time someone says you do this, I can give you an example why you absolutely shouldn't do that. You should do something else, indeed. And we'll talk about failures as well. So when you do a new venture and it's not working, the trick is to find out, is it not working yet, or have I proved it's never going to work? And working out when the right time to step out is. And it's like a professional poker player sort of thing. It's not the cards you get, it's knowing when to fold and when to keep playing and all the rest of it, you know. And no one can tell you that. You've got to go through the bumps and get some experience and work it out, and then flip a coin and fingers
Have I proven this?
got out at the right time or not, whatever it might be. But just again, being aware of, just because it's not working doesn't mean it's never going to work yet. But then sometimes it's just never going to work. And it's just trying to work that out.
Cool. I've had a great chat so far. We're going to move on to the quick fire questions at the end. So you've got 10, 15 seconds, really punchy answers. See where we end up with them. So biggest business lesson you've ever had?
Marketing.
Okay.
Don't care what your product is. If your marketing's not working, you can sell anything with marketing.
Cool.
Hardest thing to find as well.
Best decision you've ever made?
Leaving work.
So that's moving from a corporate career
and to set my own business up. Never regretted it. Never ever. Even through all the stress and the hard times and the rest of it, would never do anything different.
Cool. Worst decision you've ever made?
I really struggle with this one. There's definitely no regrets.
Yeah.
Nothing on that front. Never look back in if only. Distractions. I think there's no specific thing, but a number of times it's sort of like, oh, and chasing the money sometimes. That looks a good idea, but actually it just led me down a path of not taking me where I want to go and doing something that really wasn't serving me.
Good. Okay. Looking back, one thing that you'd change?
What period, sort of?
Just your career, business, anything you look back and think, like maybe it's the work thing, leaving work. Maybe you'd have left work earlier. Like,
yeah. In that sense, I think these might overlap with some of the other questions, sort of thing. But I think getting to realise that there's more inside us than I knew. I mathematician, accountant, logic, head, all thinking, and that serves a purpose. But once I started tapping into other areas and realising that was a real thing, and that realised it was, personal change is everything. And I could have done that earlier.
Cool. Nicely goes into the next one then. Advice for a 20-year-old you.
If I go younger,
Go younger.
Do yoga.
Do yoga.
I'm a rugby player, knackered my knee out when I was young, and if I'd done yoga, I'd be much more flexible and live like that.
So don't do rugby, just do yoga.
No, do the rugby, but yoga is going to help
massively
massively with everything because it makes you more flexible and the rest of it. Otherwise, kind of what I said before, if use stress as a indicator of where you need to do the work.
Okay. And then final one, the best book you've ever read?
Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl.
Cool. We'll get that in the links as well. Super. Thanks for coming in today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Brilliant. Thanks, John. Really enjoyed it.